If you've ever felt just completely overwhelmed by all the spiritual information out there, you are so not alone. I mean, it is incredibly easy to get lost in all that noise, right? And deep down, underneath all that confusion, there's usually this one big fear, the fear of being deceived. So in this explainer, we are going to tackle that fear head on.
I mean, does this sound familiar at all? You've got the church voices over here, then the new age voices over there. Oh, and don't forget the conspiracy voices. And before you know it, it's just this massive wall of noise. And it's totally, completely natural to get to a point where you're just like, okay, what's actually real? And more than anything, you just really, really don't want to be misled.
But here's the very first thing I want you to get. That feeling, that deep, gut-level desire not to be deceived, that is not a weakness. It's not a problem at all. In fact, it's your strength. It's a sign that you genuinely care about what's true. It means you're not just going to hand your trust over to whoever's shouting the loudest.
The problem is, though, that healthy caution, well, it can curdle. It can turn into something else entirely, a kind of paralysis that's just rooted in pure fear.
And you know what that fear sounds like on the inside, don't you? It's that constant nagging loop of self-doubt. If I trust my own gut, I might get tricked. If I trust this teaching, what if it's wrong? If I open up spiritually, something bad might get in. That inner voice, that dialogue, it can literally stop you in your tracks.
So let's get to the bottom of this. Underneath all that anxiety, there's this quiet little assumption we make without even realizing it. It's the belief that deep down, you're fragile, and that reality itself is some kind of cosmic minefield set up just to trap you. But what if that entire assumption is just wrong?
Okay, so let's shift gears here. Enough about what's scary. Let's talk about what's solid. We need an anchor, right? Something real and reliable to hold on to when everything feels like chaos.
So that brings us to the big question. In the middle of all this noise, all these competing ideas swirling around, what is the one thing you can safely lean on?
Well, the answer is you. More specifically, it's the fact that you carry a spark of the very source that created everything. Now, different traditions have all sorts of names for it, right? The image of God, the Christ spark, the I am, the soul. But the core truth is always the same. There is a center deep inside you that is completely independent of any church, any guru, any earthly authority. It's yours.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This inner core, this spark of source, it's indestructible. It literally cannot be owned or bought or sold. It can't be locked away forever in some system or doctrine, and it can never, ever be erased. Sure, deception can cloud it up for a while, kind of obscure it, but it can never, ever put that light out.
Okay, so let's hold on to that idea, our indestructible core. With that in mind, let's circle back to those spiritual fears we were talking about, this whole idea of traps, and let's reframe the whole thing.
Now, this is not me saying, oh, it's all in your head. No way. Confusing realms, manipulative people, tricky systems, they absolutely exist. But their actual power over you, it's not what you think, it's not what you've been told. This right here, this is the key shift in perspective. You see, the fear view looks at these traps and sees eternal sentences, locked prisons you can never escape. But the empowered view, it sees them for what they actually are, temporary psychological states. They're like thought loops we get stuck in. And sometimes, they're not even prisons. They're just doors we haven't realized we can open yet.
So, okay, how do you find the key to that door? Well, it's not hidden in some ancient text or some complicated ritual. The key is way simpler than that. It's just remembering who you really are. Remembering that indestructible spark of source at your core. That memory, that knowing, that's what turns the lock.
And this isn't some brand new idea. The great spiritual teachers have been pointing to this exact same truth for centuries. When you hear a phrase like, the kingdom is within you, what do you think that means? It means the ultimate authority, your ultimate safe harbor. It's not out there somewhere. It's right here, inside.
And think about this one. The truth will set you free. That's not about memorizing the right set of facts or dogmas from a book. No, it's about recognizing the deep internal truth of your own divine nature. That's the truth that sets you free.
And this last one, this really gets to the heart of it all. Perfect love casts out fear. See, the antidote to that paralysis of fear, it isn't finding more information. It's not about having better arguments. It's a completely different energy. It's love.
The kind of perfect love that recognizes your own indestructible nature. And that love, that knowing, is what banishes the fear of being tricked or trapped for good.
Okay, so that's the big idea, the philosophical reframe. But let's get super practical. How do you actually use this? How do you move forward in your life without being paralyzed by that fear?
All right, I've got 4 simple but really powerful steps for you. Number 1, test by fruit, not by drama. Just ask yourself, does this teaching, this idea, make me more loving, or does it make me more terrified? It's that simple. Number 2, assume kindness. Trust in a God or a source that is at least as merciful and kind as your own heart. Trust that. Number 3, be provisional. Look, it is totally okay to hold a belief that helps you right now and then let it go or revise it later as you grow. And number 4, and this one is huge, anchor in knowing. Make a conscious choice. Decide right now that you are not going to give your life over to the fear of making a mistake.
All right, let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all together into one core takeaway. What is the ultimate, final antidote to this fear of being deceived?
It's actually really simple when you boil it all down. Any kind of manipulation, any kind of deception, it only works if it has 2 key ingredients. It needs your fear, and it needs you to feel disconnected. Disconnected from yourself, from other people, and from source. So what this means is that becoming undeceivable has nothing to do with having all the right answers. It's about the little choices you make every single day. See, every time you consciously choose love over fear, every time you just tell the truth as you see it, every time you look at someone else and see that divine spark in them, and maybe most importantly, every time you have the courage to just say, I don't know, instead of clinging to a false certainty, you are literally starving deception of the fuel it needs to survive.
And honestly, this might be the most freeing thought of all. The goal here isn't to become some kind of spiritually perfect person with a flawless map of the entire universe. No, the goal is just to stay real and to stay kind. That's it. That's the whole path.
So let's end with this. This right here is more than just a quote. It's an anchor. It's a simple, powerful declaration of truth that no one can ever take from you. I am of source. I am loved. I choose love over fear. If you can hold on to that, if that becomes your default setting, then you cannot be deceived in any way that truly, deeply matters.